You're welcome inside the locker room on your Love Music, Love Live station, Smooth 98.1. It is 16 minutes past 8 a.m. Now it is 17 minutes past 8 a.m. on a hump of the week, Wednesday morning, 27th day in the month of November 2024. The month is almost through, but hey, it's a good time to pause and talk about sporting action and sporting activities. My name is Ayokunmi, and of course, it is always a tag team on the locker room. I never ever do this alone because I have, as always, the one, the only Tega Supreme with me on the show. Good morning to you, Tega. Great to have you in.
Good morning. And this tag team business now. There's one coach in Manchester like this. He hopes he can tag somebody and come out of the ring because the way they are beating him like this,
There
they are
was blood on
beating
his
him.
nose.
They are beating him. He has beaten himself. All of them join. He wants to tag out, but there's nobody to tag out from. We'll talk about that and the Champions League this morning. That's all we got. We'll also talk about cycling. Those people, once they catch them with one thing, they will find another way. Is it doping or isn't it doping? We are going to touch a little bit on that because they're waiting for a ruling for them to start taking action. So we'll touch on that. But today it is football, 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 and we want to hear your thoughts. Ayokumi, tell them that there must be a part of this show by sending us or calling us on some special numbers because we need to hear from you. What
Most
are your
definitely.
thoughts? Is it
Mm.
spiritual or is it physical? Let's talk about it.
I think it's spirit physical, but anyways, we'd love to get your own thoughts. We need to hear your thoughts on the issues that we have on the ground this morning, especially that man in Manchester. Yes, he's on the cards. 0809 444 0981 is the WhatsApp number. 0809 444 0981. That's the WhatsApp number to send your messages to. You can also give us a call on the studio line. We'll open that at some point. 0201 4489 981 0201 4489 981. That is the studio line. You should have those numbers saved already on your phone so you can just press, you get through to us. You can also join us on YouTube. We're streaming live on Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Also, please drop your comments there as well so we can have a robust conversation on the locker room this morning. All right, so let's get into the conversation. And we're going to begin, as you mentioned earlier, talking about cycling. Now, cycling chiefs on Tuesday requested that the World Anti-Doping Agency, that's WADA, take a position on the controversial but legal carbon monoxide breathing method used by top riders. Tega, isn't that car
How can
exhaust?
it be legal in the first place? Are they not smoking something? How can it be legal? How are you taking carbon monoxide and you're saying it is legal if you do it only one or two times? How will you know when I do it? So you remember there was a time it was blood doping because this is an endurance sport. So um, they look for methods to get to stay longer. Now this carbon monoxide inhalation, it's almost as if you are learning how to play at an altitude. But basically,
Mm,
what it does for endurance, um, just like why people go to Kenya to train, because if you're training at that kind of altitude, it helps your stamina, build your stamina. And so, but that's natural. So, but these people have now found a way to start inhaling this carbon monoxide so that they can get this feeling into their system and they'll see how long they can endure during the race. Now, you're competing in an
okay.
endurance sport. If you were running the 100-meter sprint, if I will say, okay, the difference may not be too much. But the reason for this altitude training is for long distance. This is for endurance. So if you're taking it to do the marathon, it definitely has to be illegal. Why is it not illegal in cycling? Now, the top athletes are doing this. You have to remember that this is the same cyclists that when they removed Lance Armstrong's title, they had to leave
Right,
those seven
right.
years blank because everybody was doing it. Which is why I say Lance Armstrong may have been doping, but he was not cheating his teammates because they were all doping.
Every
Yes. So the
everyone was
game,
on everyone was on a level playing field, more or less.
exactly, everybody was on a level playing field, which is why they couldn't replace him with anybody. Usually if they catch someone doping, they'll upgrade other people. The seven
Mm,
years are blank because everybody else was doing something or the other. And so for some reason, cycling has found a way. When they catch them with one thing, they will find another thing. And now it is carbon monoxide. And the fact that, I don't think the WADA had thought that people would start to do this kind of thing. Because carbon monoxide, though, you might as well just go under your car, put your nose inside the exhaust.
Exactly.
That's what they're doing, just so you know how harmful this thing is normally. And so for them to be waiting for WADA or not, because they hadn't put this in their rule in the first place, because they didn't think that there will come a time where people will be smoking exhaust. They did not think it. They're like, human beings will be bad, but they will not reach that level. It shocked them that even the top riders are now using it. One of the former winner was like, I didn't really use it. I did it only once, and I didn't do the full thing. I did half. By the time I was supposed to do the second half, the girl did not come. So you did not complete the cheating because the person didn't show up, not because you didn't want to come. My body is paining me. I want to just go there. I want to just go there with cane. And
deep breath. Take a deep breath. Deep breaths.
I don't even know why they're wasting time. These people are smoking things, and you're saying you're waiting for WADA. Rule now. They shouldn't be allowed to do that. It's doping. Simple. It's doping. They shouldn't be waiting for international body. Anyway, they are waiting for the ruling. So me, I'll wait with them and hear what is happening there, because this is another level that I'm saying. So wait to see what cycling decides on this taking carbon monoxide. Me, I can tell them from afar off that is doping. And I can tell them that it's not just doping. There's a sprinkling of lunacy in it, but let's just leave it at that.
Well,
let's
Tega,
wait for
on one hand, it shouldn't be too surprising that people go to this level to enhance themselves. I mean, look at people who decided, to sniff glue or sniff gutters, as it were. So the world has become such
this is professional sports.
I understand the
and
context.
You are still questioning.
No, I'm talking about those who are even doing it. Not even not even what those who are going to that level to do something like that. I'm also talking about how depraved the world is right now to even consider that sort of thing. It is the wild, wild west out there. It definitely is the wild, wild west. Let's see what transpires in that instance. All right, let's talk some footballing stuff, because it is going to be football back to back to back this morning. And let's talk about the blue side of Manchester. Man City. Anyways, they blew a 3-0 lead to draw 3-3 against Feyenoord in their Champions League thriller on Tuesday to extend their winless run to 6 games. In their defense, so at least they stopped losing. They've drawn now.
Well, I've often said the one is different from they have not lost. So you're right. Yes. It is the ridiculousness of what happened. It is a capitulation that I think is shocking. And it was a combination of things. I think that's why Pep Guardiola was scratching his head. He was like, what have I done? What have I done? Because he made some changes and all of a sudden things fell apart. I don't know that the person that wrote that book assumed that Manchester City was going to literally, explain it to people. Because the central literally couldn't hold as soon as they made the changes. But he had to make the changes. They're paying all of them salaries, so all of them should be able to pitch in. Manchester City had thought they had come out of a quagmire. They're like, even if we don't beat anybody, Feyenoord, we must beat them now and at home. So they get into the game. They score 3 goals. Erling Haaland with 2 goals. Erling Haaland now with 47 goals in 46 matches. Is that it? Yeah. Or 46 goals in 46 matches. Some ridiculous number.
Do you mean in the Champions League?
Yes. No, in the Champions League, yes.
I'm not sure how many games, but 44 goals in the Champions League already. But of course, it's a ridiculous number of games.
Yeah, he scored 2 yesterday. So I think it's 46 games he's played so far. So yesterday was the 46th game. Yeah. So you're looking at and you have to understand that even then he's having a poor season with those numbers. It's a poor season. His father is soon going to come to his house and tell him, what are you doing? You're about to disgrace the family name. Yeah, because every time Haaland is going through a problem, his father will just show up and say, boy, I think you're forgetting something. So he's having a poor season, but he's having those great numbers. Anyway, he scores 3 goals. It looks like Manchester City decided to turn their fortunes around. Pep Guardiola was like, okay, we're playing Liverpool over the weekend. It's the 75th minute. Let me start resting some players towards the weekend. That's how he said, let him do substitution. Some people tagged out, some people tagged in. You know how it is in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything fell apart. They went from 3-0 to 3-3. And you have to understand how painful this is. Feyenoord had 9 shots at goal, 4 on target, and they scored 3 goals. Manchester City had 20 shots at goal, and they scored the same number as Feyenoord that had only 9 and only 4 on target. And so, yes, the attackers were angry. You could see Erling Haaland. He wanted to pull out what was left of his hair. Pep Guardiola was already scratching his nose and his hair. You could see that they were mad that, look, we scored 3 goals. How did we concede 3? But they should also think that you could have scored 6. After all, even Atletico Madrid that plays a stifled, rigid football, they scored 6 now. Yes, Atletico, and they scored their own away. So what was stopping you from scoring 6? At this point in time, it's a really tough place for Manchester City to be. The first thing they must learn how to do is try not to concede, and that is the biggest problem. Pep Guardiola has never been that coach where he tries not to concede. That is it. He does not. His team is not really, or his style is not really predicated upon how well you can defend.
They will score goals, definitely.
They will score goals, but the problem is they've conceded too many goals already. I think 27 goals. Those are West Ham numbers now, or Ipswich Town numbers. How are you conceding those amounts of goals? So think about it. They conceded 3 yesterday. Over the weekend, they conceded 4, right? Against Tottenham.
Against
They've
Tottenham,
just been they've been so look at the numbers of goals they're conceding. You shouldn't be able to win titles conceding those numbers of goals, and that's where the problem is. So he has to find a way for him to stop conceding goals, even before he starts thinking of how do we score more goals, because that's the biggest problem now. They've given way too many goals away, and I'm sure that's why he was scratching his head, because he was like, "Yeah, Nami." Now maybe this.
it was. I saw him. I saw him at the aftermatch interview. A bloody nose, and his head was red from all the scratches. He probably is wondering who did he offend. And Man City now hold an unwanted record. They become the first team to throw away a 3-goal lead from 75 minutes and up. In the Champions League, which is ridiculous.
Which is
Even
ridiculous.
by any
And he
standards, let
just
alone a Man City standard.
and he just signed a contract. Normally, he would have gone on a sabbatical. Anyways, let's go to the next story. Let's take a break.
We'll take a break now. We'll take a break. When we come back in, we'll go on to the next story. We'll be talking about Bayern Munich and PSG. More about the Champions League right here on The Locker Room on Smooth 98.1.
Hello, people. It's a pleasure to introduce
But you'll don't enter around.
We'll enter. Now, one chance to enter.
But the thing is, well, on one hand, it's easy to say, oh, it's Pep. They can get out of it. It's very easy to say that. But what if they don't get out of it anytime soon?
They can't get out of it. Pep is the kind of person that can only cook better soup with complete ingredients.
Okay.
That's half his problem. Yes.
It then raises the question, is Pep sackable?
Oh, yes. But these people, they don't get liver. Normally, it should be told, anybody would have sacked Pep by now. Normally, with these numbers. They'll be like, if footballers, is it not how they sacked Pochettino after what he did at Tottenham? It was this kind of thing that made them to sack him now. This kind of losses and in a row. When Pochettino was looking like high and mighty after getting to the Champions League final. It was the next season that they sacked him now because the team was playing like this. But Pep, anyway, best we pray for him. Don't pray for him well.
About signing contract, everything does Bapuka.
He signed Bapuka before he signed the contract.
Maybe that wasn't the best thing for him to have done.
He thought if he signed, it would help to inspire them.
Oh, okay. Well, they've inspired to lose. So there's that.
Many don't just settle for any gift. Give your children and the family
Oh.
imagination, creativity this holiday season. For a limited time, Tega purchase comes with an exclusive Lego gift. Gather your family and friends and head to the official Lego
So
store.
today's Liverpool Madrid. My hot.
Yeah.
One, Dead
It's
and
gonna
Shadow.
hot.
Black Panther store. Scanning City Mall, Jaffet. 3, Pete's Corner at North Markets, Oneru, Victoria Island, close to City of David. 4, Toy Front Store at 221 Kaba Macaulay Way, Yaba. And 5, BB Store, Charlie Boy Bus Stop, Bagada, Lagos. Again, here are the locations. Shed and Shona Stores, Global Mall at Shongotedo, Lekki. Black Panther Store at Gadi City Mall, Port Harcourt. Keats Corner at Nar Supermarket, Oniru, Victoria Island, close to City of David. Toy Front Store at 221 Haba Macaulay Way, Yaba. BB Store at Charlie Boy Buster, Bagada, Lagos. Lego, gift the power of play. Every 6 years, I get one. What are you doing? I am counting the numbers I get over 5 billion shares. FBN Holdings is giving existing shareholders the chance to buy more shares at 25 naira each. This means that you can get one new one for every 6 you own. Don't miss out. Own a share tomorrow with FBN Holdings rights issue. The offer opens from 4th November to 12th December 2024. Visit your stockbroker or any First Bank branch to get started. You can also access the offer directly on your First Mobile Banking app. FBN Holdings. Own your share of tomorrow. One expense, your gateway to excitement. Download One Expense app from Google Play or the App Store. You can start a chance to start winning today. Thousands of sporting events and thrilling games are waiting for you. Unleash your intuition and log with One Expense. Use the promo code Pepper Radio and get a bonus to start. At the heart of the game, One Expense. To responsibly into blocks. Start your day the smooth breakfast way. Always fresh. Weekday mornings on Smooth 98.
All right. Welcome back into the locker room on the Smooth Breakfast on Smooth 98.1. It is 34 minutes past 8 a.m. Ayokunmi here. Alongside me is Tega, and we are taking a look at the sporting action that has been making the rounds in the last 24 hours. We've been talking about football and, of course, the Champions League. We spoke earlier on about Man City and, of course, their travails at the moment. Let's talk about we'll talk about more Champions League games. But before then, to remind you how to be part of the show, please send your messages in to us on WhatsApp on 0809 444 0981. The studio line is 0201 4489981. We're also streaming on YouTube, so you can find us at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. All right, Tega, let's talk about Bayern Munich and PSG. A first half header from Min Jae Kim guided Bayern Munich to a 1-0 home win over PSG on Tuesday, worsening the French side's hopes of progressing in the Champions League.
Yes, so you know you have to be in top 24. Top 8 automatic, top 24, then you still get the chance for playoffs.
Right.
So even as bad as Manchester City's problem is, they still playoffs. PSG, their ship has not only is not only stuck in the middle of the river, it has started taking in water. That's where that's where PSG are now. At the start of the game, Bayern Munich and PSG were already in dire straits, and both of them needed the game to win. But even the way that they both approached the game, they were trying to get goals scored a little bit overexcited, and they were not putting away their chances, especially for Bayern Munich, who was the home team and creating a few chances here and there, and whose coaches' inexperience sometimes have come into question, especially in the Champions League. Because in the Bundesliga now, he's doing all right, but in the Champions League, he's really struggling. So both of them went all out to play, but I think Ousmane Dembele allowed something to go into his head before the red card even came. I already saw me as I misbehaving. I was like, should you're just a French Theo Walcott. It's not, you're not that
Wow.
kind of player that you will.
Wow.
There are players that can make mouth. You be like, okay, this guy he has skill. French Theo Walcott, that's who you are.
Uh-uh.
And you're making out as if I'm a big name player. No, I've never believed it. His type, Ousmane Dembele, Leroy Sani, those boys, they've never impressed me. And they are not beating my allegations. Anyway, so he starts having the wrong attitude. He's quarreling with the opposition, then he starts quarreling with the referee. And you know how it is with these referees. They gave them, that's why sometimes I say, even if you give them this decent card so that they can feel better about themselves, you also have to remind them that they are answerable for every card they give for dissent. Because sometimes a referee can just get angry and give you a yellow card, and nothing you can do about it is yellow. You say it's dissent. He felt
Right.
disrespected. Yeah. And so he's angry with the referee till his teammates has to push him away. And the referee takes note. So by the time he entered that challenge, the referee was like, come and go and sit down. It's okay. You have made too much noise. So
You don't
already the
do.
attitude from the PSG player, especially Ousmane Dembele, was nasty. And so they considered a goal. Bayern Munich was on the up and up, dominating with possession. But, as Bayern Munich is always, they will give you opportunities to score. And PSG couldn't take advantage of that. But the minute they went down to 10 men, it made it even harder. So tough one there for PSG and Luis Enrique. But for Bayern Munich, they'll be thankful that they were able to win that one. With all the possession they had, all the chances they created, they scored only one.
Well, I mean, that one goal equaled 3 points. So they would gladly take
They
that
will
every
gladly
day of
take
the
it.
week
Oh,
and twice
yes.
on Sundays. I'm
Yes, so.
telling you. All right,
All
let's
right.
let's keep the energy here talking about the Champions League. The big one, or one of the big ones, as far Champions League games for this season. Liverpool taking on Real Madrid. That one is going to be a cracker. Now, with Real Madrid's Vinicius Jr. injured for the Champions League clash at Liverpool today, superstar summer signing Kylian Mbappe will become their key attacking weapon. So, no Vinicius. Could we see Mbappe once again going back to his favored
I beg
left-hand
you
side
should.
of the pitch?
I beg. He may start from there, but I don't know how his confidence is. He may start from. I mean, think about it. This is his opportunity to tell Ancelotti that, oh God, this is the place I thrive. But we've seen where Vinicius was substituted. He was allowed to roam freely, and his confidence was shot. He got into great positions. He just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. I think the player that would really show up is Jude Bellingham. Again, he I was watching his interview before this match, and he was talking about how he felt like he was England's scapegoat. I was like, if you're England's scapegoat, what's Harry Kane? Because everybody just piles on that guy too. Um, and so yes, I understand where he's coming from, but Jude Bellingham will also want to step up. He hasn't had a great season, and his season is just coming together with him now scoring in consecutive La Liga games. So it's beginning to look like I'm back to the Jude Bellingham of last season, and so he's the one I think would really step up. I'm not expecting much from Mbappe because of the form he's had this season. That is not to say that he cannot turn up at Liverpool against Liverpool and become Superman. I'm just saying that I, Tega Onojiafe, do not expect much from him. But yes, Vinicius Junior's injury is a tough one because he looked fine over the weekend. Um, and then he went off. I was just like, okay, maybe the coach is trying to rest him towards midweek. Turns out it was an injury. This devil is really working very hard. It's working overtime because everybody's getting injured these days.
I don't understand what's in the water out there, but hey, let's just hope that they come back, stronger and
He's
of
missing
course
about
injury
four,
free. So
yeah, about 4 or 5 games. That's a lot at this time. That's a lot.
it is well, even in the well, as they say. All right, let's talk about Liverpool, Tega. And Arne Slot has been talking now. He said speculation over Mohamed Salah's future at Anfield is fueling the Egyptians' fine form ahead of a special week for the Reds. I mean, Madrid
Yeah, he
today,
said it's
Man
not.
City on
Yeah,
the
he
weekend.
said it's not distracting for him for all the big matches. And so, like you said, special weekend. They play Madrid on Wednesday. They play Man City over the weekend. Now both their opponents have different issues, but an slot machine is giving out wins every two. I mean, that slot machine is a winner.
I'm telling you.
So even when they don't play their best football, like over the weekend, they still come out with the win. And so they step up against the Real Madrid with a lot of injuries, and Vinicius Junior added in that. And then they also step up against a Manchester City that concedes goals for free. And so a Manchester City in bad form, conceding goals, not scoring enough goals. So as much as the names are big and the fixtures are what people will be looking forward to, they're stepping up against wounded kings of the forest. Let me call them that. So even if it's a special week, it's also a week that is relatively okay. If you told Jurgen Klopp he was going to face this Real Madrid and this Manchester City, he would dive it with two hands.
Easily.
Easily. All right. So this is a tough one. But yeah, Mohamed Salah, I don't think it's a fact that they haven't tied his contract. I think it's a fact that he's talking about it. That's the thing. Mohamed Salah didn't used to talk much. All of a sudden, he's going to the free zone and he's talking plenty and about contracts. And that's where it is. I think it's the fact that his people are talking a lot about it. Oh, and then you're seeing in the news, make no mistakes, that news about Saudi Arabia clubs coming from Mohamed Salah is also part of his people doing their job. Because we didn't have to know. It's not like the Saudi Arabia clubs were announcing over the microphone. They didn't buy out the central page on the newspaper. The people that are leaking the information that they have been contacted for those things are his people. So the distraction is not that they haven't tied into a contract, is that they're talking about it, which means that they don't like the terms that Liverpool are putting on the table. That's what it means. And that is the distraction. Yeah.
Very interesting times ahead. Okay, let's quickly talk about Unai Emery. I mean, Villa is another club that have been going through quite a bit of a bad patch at the moment. You know, he's challenged Aston Villa to end their dismal run by claiming another memorable Champions League scalp against historic Italian giants Juventus on Wednesday.
And it will be very easy. Juventus are also going through their own rough patch of injuries. It's a tough one. Thiago Motta thought when he was signing for Juventus that he was moving up to a bigger club. But with the options available to him right now, he might as well still be coaching Bologna. That's where he is right now. It's a very tough one. It's like everybody in Juventus is going to the clinic. So if there was a time for Aston Villa to stop their abysmal run and to get a revenge against Juventus, this is the match.
Definitely is. And let's quickly sneak in Arsenal here.
What's the sneaking Arsenal? Look at the time. Let's just take.
Okay. Let's take messages because actually time has actually flown by. I just keep my eye on the clock right now. This is a message from Analop says, you didn't mention Arsenal's spectacular away win. I just mentioned it, but hey, who cares? It's Arsenal. Please. Sporting Lisbon had not lost at home for 1 year. 30 match unbeaten home run ended. Arsenal are back. This is why
you lose. People brag too much. This is why people lose.
Okay. Emeka says Pep Guardiola may need some psychotherapy by the end of this season. When asked about the cuts and marks on his face, he said he wanted to harm himself. I just hope Liverpool don't push him over the edge. He's not used to losing. Let him get used to it now. Biggie from K2 Tega, since Odegaard came back and Arsenal's gameplay has been on point and the Gunners' confidence is solid, to City, Pep and Haaland, all I have to say to them is be humble. They should just be humble. David says, Tega, French to your Walcott. Good heavens. Anyway, I don't see PSG getting the top 8. They should get comfortable being in the two-legged playoffs. Even that is not sure for them right now. For City, well, exactly. The die is cast. They're done for this season. The Madrid versus Liverpool game would be a cracker. I can't wait. BJ from McWest says, good morning. I hope Haaland is humble now. He looked shocked. Everybody looked shocked. This one is from Big Mayo. Big Mayo says, smoking carbon monoxide is brand new to me. Funny enough, these are the same people who say carbon emission are causing global change and they're living off of it.
And they're smoking it into their system.
Nothing is new under the sun. Things are happening out there. Femi says, 6 winless games for Pep and City. If no one will say it, I will say football is leaving Pep. And further says he
No,
can't be a
football
great
has left
manager.
him.
Wow, wow. It says Pep can't be a great manager, and his progress depends on Rodri. That's Femi from Satellite Town. Um, Fred says, Tega, when Arsenal lose, you are the first to banter. I now understand. What do you understand, Fred?
It's okay. It's okay. We lose if you lose again. This team because of this thing said we. Oh, you'll be the first story, and I'll open the phone lines.
Let me take YouTube. Uche Nawoko says, Man City, the silence of pundits and football lovers is amazing. If it were ETH, that's Ten Hag, everyone would have an opinion of how bad he is. A coach is only as good as the players on the pitch. I feel for Pep. LK Adiroba says, it's better Pep signed a new contract to sack him now. He will have a bigger payout. And Adifemi says, 6 winless games for Pep and City. Okay, I've taken that already. And all right, we need to call it a morning on the show. Thank you so much for all the thoughts. And of course, Tega, thank you for coming through as always on the locker room.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning into the locker room to Smooth 98.1 FM. I'm still in Abuja at the Amber Game, so be kind to me. I have military friends now. All right. And on that note, continue to have a fantastic week.
All right, thanks, Tega. Cheers, and do take it easy. And of course, thank you for keeping it tuned to the locker room. And of course, Smooth 98.1. We'll get talking on Niggas Talks at 9 o'clock. Don't go anywhere.